Welcome to Fast Cars, Fast Girls, your INDYCAR experience. I'm your host, Abby Meyer. And this week, joining us, we have my friend and, well, friend of many people in the paddock, Miss Tammy Fox. Welcome to the show, Tammy. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Abby. Glad to be here.
It's I say you're a longtime listener, first time co-host.
That's true. Long-time listener. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, now you're loving the paddock. You really are about the Ed Carpenter racing team.
Absolutely.
Little background on Tammy. So she's not professionally involved in IndyCar, but I would say could be considered a professional fan.
Yes. I'm a professional stalker, Ed Carpenter Racing.
Yeah, professional stalker, professional fan. There may or may not be some protective orders out there.
Cakes have been baked back in the day for Ed Carpenter. I don't know if you remember that or not, but back when Fuzzy's was a sponsor, Fuzzy Vodka, and yes, it was a pretty epic day for me. So, but no,
That's
I
awesome.
love Connor Daly as a driver, and of course VK. So, and Ed when he's driving on the ovals. So
On the ovals, yep. Gotta love Ed Carpenter racing. So
100%.
obviously we love Tammy because Ed Carpenter's, one of our hometown teams. So
That's
yeah.
right.
All right. So and then Tammy, so briefly we're gonna recap MidOhio. And then we're going to kind of preview the Toronto race and then just talk about all the IndyCar drama.
Wonderful. And glad to say that we were both at MidOhio live for the race. So that was fantastic. Wonderful race.
And
it
was a great race. There was a lot of action in the keyhole where we sit. We got to see all kinds of things go down. A lot of people spinning out, teammate on teammate violence. There was a lot of drama that race.
That's right. Andretti's did not do that well, which again, I'm a Pennsylvania girl, and Andretti's are our local team, but they really had a rough time at that race.
It was, I'll tell you what, to be a fly on the wall in the Andretti trailer after that race, I would have paid good money.
100%. Somebody was getting a spanking.
Yeah, well, it came over the radio to the broadcasters because I was flipping back between stations, and one of the broadcasters said to the pit reporter, they were like, no one is to speak to any Andretti drivers. They are to go straight to their holler. Because Michael apparently had plans to ream people's asses before they even gave an interview.
As he should. I would agree with him on a few times.
Yeah, I mean,
it was an expensive day for him, I think.
It was an expensive day for him. Yeah, I think he was shittier than anybody.
At the keyhole for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like we just talked about as before we started recording, Scott McLaughlin won. So another win for Scotty Mac.
2 for him, I think, so far this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. He's in my fantasy league that I'm part of. He's one of my drivers, so he's been doing well.
Yeah, I should have picked him. I almost did, and then I didn't draft him, and I should have. I made a mistake.
He's doing well. I would say Erickson, too, has been a little bit of a surprise to me. He's not one of my drivers for fantasy, but he's been doing well this season, I think, Erickson.
He has been. I certainly didn't expect him to win the 500.
I did not. Although I did pick him as my wild card, and that helped me. It saved me.
Hey, very nice.
Because my Ed Carpenter team, maybe they didn't have a strong finish. But I still love them.
Always love them.
I'm hoping for a strong finish here in Toronto from both Connor and VK. I'm leaning a little more towards VK on this race, but we'll see.
Well, I'm excited because I'm a Pagano fan, and he loves Toronto. It's his favorite track, and he does quite well there.
And he was the last. I think he was the last winner. So the last time we were in Toronto was 2019, I think, and he was. I believe he was the winner. If I remember.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he has maybe a record there. Yeah.
And he also
won the pole, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's pre-COVID, so that's a long time ago to
that
even
is. So yeah, he was the pole winner, and he won in 2019. The qualifying record is actually from 1999.
99.
And it's Gil de Ferran.
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay.
But
Newey's up there too. Didn't he make some type of?
Yeah, there's a current a layout change since then, and so New Gardens got the fastest time since the layout change, and that was from 2019.
Well, you might not love me for this one. I was previously a huge Pagano fan, although lately not as. I mean, he's still good. I'm not a strong pick for him though for this year at Toronto.
I don't know. He's been turning up the heat. I'm picking him.
Are you? All right.
I am. He's been turning up the heat. He's been doing okay. Which, speaking of, I say we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that we had a nice little stop by from Meyer Shank Racing while we were at MidOhio.
We did. That was very nice.
It was very fun, and we got to see Simon and Haley's little baby. We got to see little Marley, who's cute as can be, and just was laughing his ass off at Duchess. Just found
Yes.
Duchess so funny. It was just doing that, that baby giggle over and over and over.
And I have to say, one of the other enjoyable parts about that visit was Mrs. Trego, who is like Castroneves' all-time biggest fan, was like in heaven to see him there and get a photo with him. That was really a highlight for me. She just enjoyed having him there.
Oh my gosh, she was so excited. I mentioned something to her, she had said something earlier in the day, and she was like, "I just love Castroneves," and I was like, "Do you?" I was like, I feel like I had the information, but I forgot. And she was like, "Yeah, I love Castroneves," and I was like, "Well, we might be getting a visit later on today," and she was like, How did you do that? And I was like, well, I text their PR person, Laura. That's how I did that.
It was great. They all were
like,
so personable and talking with everybody. It was nice to have them at the site.
It was. And Mike Shank is always a pleasure. I love him. Yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, no, yeah. Mrs. Trego was over the moon. That was great. I love to see that. It's like, yeah, she was as excited as the kids.
We're going to need to get that photo autographed at some point for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We will. Absolutely. So
she might be his number one fan. And then I might say her one son, Trego, is not that he doesn't appreciate him as a driver. However, maybe not his favorite.
Yeah, definitely not his favorite. Definitely not his favorite. Although to be fair.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, to be fair, I don't think that he's her favorite son. So.
Speak the truth. Speak the truth. Well, all right. Let's go. We all love Timmy.
We all love Timmy. Oh, Timmy. So, yeah, MidOhio, great time. All camped together per usual. Great race. Very exciting. And, yeah, up to Toronto this week. Some quick, fast facts. I can find it here. So it is an 11-turn race. It is on the streets of Toronto, so it's our third street course because we've got St. Pete, Toronto, and Nashville. I think that's it for our street courses.
Long Beach, is that a street course?
Long Beach is street. There we go.
Long Beach, and we already had Long Beach. So,
okay, so
yes,
4.
Yes.
I felt like I was forgetting one. Apologies. I'm on night shift, and so I'm still waking up right now.
Nashville, we haven't got there yet, and it's only the second year, so that's understandable. You're thinking 3 on average, so it's new to Nashville.
It's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a temporary street course, and it is 1.786 miles long. It's an 85 lap race for a total of 151.8 miles. They get 200 seconds of push to pass, which they can only use for max 20 seconds at a time. That's pretty standard. And it's usually a wild race to watch. The drivers really seem to enjoy Toronto, and street courses are my least favorite tracks on the schedule.
Really?
Typically.
See, I'm the opposite. Street courses are my favorite.
Interesting. Yeah, they're usually my least favorite, but Toronto is one that, like, I love watching the Toronto race. St. Pete obviously has a special place in my heart. I always love St. Pete.
Right.
But yeah, some of the, like, Nashville has some growing to do.
Agreed.
They've got
Learned last year, and I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence if I want to go to that race this year or not because of that.
Yeah.
I liked it. I may go, but I do think another year or two
They kind of need to get their rhythm.
Yes.
So they're gonna get there. They're gonna get there. But yeah, there are a few things, like the trees blocking the view, and just things that when you haven't hosted a street course before, you don't
Well, there
know.
were some technical difficulties. There were some difficulties with the stands being set up. There were some difficulties with what I would call IT or technical difficulties with some of the trons not working or the audio, especially on a course like that, street course where you can't see much of the race, so you rely on what you can see on the trons or the videos. And
Absolutely.
so it was pretty challenging for us last year. Although we had a great weekend, a awesome place to have a
Oh,
race.
couldn't
We
have
had
had a better time.
staying downtown, walking over to the race. That part I love. So there's potential I'll be going.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, Nashville's got great potential. Like you said, I think another year or two and they should really have their stuff together.
It's
But
kind of
yeah,
funny though. I like the street course the best. However, being a big fan of Ed Carpenter, yes, I like the ovals, but there's so few on the schedule.
ugh,
And any from Pennsylvania are hard to get to.
they are.
So from a flight standpoint or a drive standpoint, it's not easy. I wish there were a few more ovals because I'd like to see him driving a little bit more. But um, I like the street courses. What do you like? What's your number one?
Ovals.
Ovals. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm an oval girl.
There's not enough of those.
I know. There's not enough of them. I agree.
Roger
I
Penske, let's work on it. Let's get a Kentucky. Let's get a Kentucky or I don't know.
I would love Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a short drive for me. I would love that.
Whatever happened to Richmond? And not to sidetrack here, but
Yeah.
we had Richmond come on during COVID, and it was under.
And then yeah,
It's gone.
and it
I
just
don't even know there.
never happened.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like
I do miss
ghosted.
Pocono and Watkins Glen, even though not traditional ovals, but they're
I miss
closer to home.
Pocono too. I miss Pocono too. We need another super speedway. We need another big oval. I definitely miss that. Although I will say, exciting news, the stars aligned perfectly, and I am going to Iowa.
I was literally just looking into going to that race, and the flights from Pennsylvania are like 1,000. They're outrageous. It's expensive, and I'm like, okay, hotels nearby. Would I stay in Des Moines? I don't know. It's a no for me.
Yeah,
Although it's a double header, right?
It is a double header,
Yeah.
and I totally lucked out because I've got a friend who's going. She and her dad are going, Jocelyn, who we just talked
Nice.
about.
Yes.
So, and her dad lives up near Chicago. So I was like, if I make my own way to Chicago, can I ride with you guys from Chicago to Iowa? And then as it turns out, Jocelyn is a travel agent part-time, so she gets travel agent hotel room rates.
Nice.
And so I was like, oh, okay. All of a sudden, this race became very doable for my budget.
Well, and is she able to get something? So my concern was getting something close to the track, or else I have to rent a car or get Uber. It's about 40-45 minutes to Des Moines. So it's like, okay, do I stay in the big city?
Well, lucky for us, her dad's our DD.
Okay.
So
all right.
we are going to be staying. Yeah. So we are going to be staying 35 minutes away from the track, 35 or 40 minutes. But he doesn't drink, so it doesn't really matter for him.
Okay.
Whereas, when you're looking at it for yourself and it's like a 40-minute Uber drive, that gets real expensive real fast.
Right. And would there be one available? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're in BFE.
I know
Newton, Iowa's.
In years past at MidOhio, I stayed away. Typically, we, as you know from this past year, we typically stay at the track. But one of the years during COVID, we did an Airbnb that was 20 minutes off site, and I Ubered a little bit. And yeah, you can Uber in one direction, but then coming home a little bit more of a challenge, and I don't want to be stranded. So it's like maybe rent a car if you're at more of a remote track, which I think Iowa is.
It is definitely more of a remote track. And if you want to camp, it's not a bad track to camp at. It's just not a track that I'm ever going to camp at again.
You were there the wild
year, the crazy
wild camping, yeah.
And then the tornado. Yeah. Nope. So we made a rule that year. I've had the only bad camping experiences I've had are at racetracks that have that are ovals with night races. And so I just have a blanket rule that I don't camp for night races.
Well, is Ohio changed to a day race now, right? Like it was a night, or am I wrong about that? I was thinking
No,
it.
they don't have lights, so they weren't a night race.
Oh, okay, my
But they
mistake.
used
I'm
to
sorry.
start later in the day. Like it
Okay,
used to not start till like 3:30, and so you were
okay,
there much later in the day.
okay. All right.
But
As you know, that's not a track I've ever been to, and I go to quite a few, but that's not one I've been to.
yeah, it's definitely worth it, but not this year with flights and prices and all that. Plus, hell, your flight would probably get canceled, then you couldn't get there anyway.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna skip it. There's 2 or 3 I'm still thinking about, but
I know I have to miss Nashville just because, well, the aforementioned issues. It was like not high on my priority list, although it is, it's only 4.5 hours driving distance for me, and so I'm like, it's so close, but it's also the same week as our family vacation that I've not been able to go on for the last 3 years, and so I'm having to sacrifice Nashville so I can work that weekend and have the days during the week off to be on the houseboat. So
see, I feel like Indiana is close to any race. I mean, I feel like we're 10 to 12 hours from any race. You guys are, I feel like 4 to 6 hours from a lot of the races.
we
Uh,
really are, and it's
we
really
have to fly,
nice.
like Nashville, I would have to fly.
Hmm. Yeah,
Well,
St.
not,
Pete, you have to.
I would not have to fly, but again, unless I'm taking more time off work, it's a quick flight.
Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah,
yeah,
we
I don't know.
definitely, yeah, being located in Indiana is nice because it is pretty central to a lot of the tracks. So yeah, we can usually drive to them. So for Toronto, so you're not so hot on Simon Pagino. Who do you think's gonna win?
First or all 3 podium
Um,
spots?
or just not necessarily in any order. Like, who do you think's gonna be on the podium?
I'm thinking New Garden for the win. That's my
Okay.
prediction. New Garden for the win. He's been there before. He's been aggressive. He's wanting to advance on the points. That's my pick for number 1. I'm thinking Herta and Rossi.
Okay.
Those 3 for the top 3 for podium.
Yeah,
But
I'm liking.
Newey for the win. I think Herta's been excuse me, Herta's been trying, and he's had a couple fluke things going on, but I think he's going to do well here.
I would love to see that. I love Herta. He has had a trying season a little bit.
And Rossi did so. I thought he was doing awesome in MidOhio until
Until
the
he wasn't.
incident
The incident.
at the Geel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was good up until then.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Power is on the podium again. He is just quietly, stealthily staying up in the points.
Here's my thing with Power. Anytime I pick him for any reason, he takes a shit.
You know what Will Power would say to you?
What?
Stop picking him.
Which I do. I don't pick him anymore. He's a great driver. He's freaking amazing. However, I can't pick him because when I do, something goes wrong. So
I get that.
no, can't pick him.
I get that. I think Pagano's going to be on the podium. He loves this track. It loves him. He was the most recent winner. I feel like
you're a Meyer Shank fan. All right.
Oh yeah, I am all in
I'm
on
betting
Meyer
against
Shank.
you though, girl, on that one.
I know you are. That's okay though. I mean, I have to be a Meyer Shank fan. They have my last name in the name of the team. Like there was no way. And then when Pagano moved, it was like, all right, good. Now I don't have to split my money between 2 teams anymore. But yeah, I think Pagano. I think Power. I think McLaughlin because he does well on the street courses too.
Let's see. I haven't done my fantasy picks yet, and he's one of them. So of course I would be rooting for him 100%. But back-to-back wins, I'm not sure.
You never know. I mean, sometimes
you
drivers
don't.
ride that high, and it just gives them extra confidence going in, but like in a good way, not in a make stupid mistakes way.
It's the thing I love about INDYCAR.
You never know.
You never know. You can have everything going for 1 or 2 drivers, and one little thing happens.
One yellow flag falls at the wrong time, and it just,
Yep.
yep. I love that.
I think that happened to, I think it was to Herta at MidOhio. Didn't he wanted to pit? Was it MidOhio? I hope I'm remembering correctly.
I
He
believe
wanted to
so.
pit, but he couldn't get in time, and then that just he was
And
in
there
the
was the
lead, but he
yellow.
needed to pit, and he could not get in, and that ruined him for the race.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the crew I run around with from the Pain Tour, I think a lot of them had picked him to do
Yeah.
well, and I think that pretty much decided
his fate for that race.
Yeah, so I mean it's one of the things I do like about IndyCar, that it's not always going to be a Penske driver. It's anybody's race. I mean, it's not going to be a Kellett or a Jimmy Johnson, but
Yeah, I mean, we're not miracle workers here.
was that inappropriate for me to say that?
Not at all. Not on this show. Well, so what's interesting, we have had 10 races, I think. 9 or 10 races.
9 or 10, yeah.
And we've had 9 races, and we've had
6 different winners, yeah.
Yeah. So, which again, yeah, just is a testament to that. I mean, there's so many good drivers that it can be anybody's game. And, I never want to count out Pato O'Ward. That kid knows how to wheel a car.
That's true.
So, and he's about due for another win.
He had a hard time in MidOhio, yeah. Yeah.
So, and I do love him. I wouldn't mind seeing him do well ever. I always enjoy seeing him do well. There's not really, and that's another thing. It's hard. Oh, Pelot, which we are going to talk about.
We need to talk about him.
But yeah, Pelot, although I don't know that the street courses are Pelot's strength.
No, I wouldn't pick. I would not pick him, but.
I mean, he's the defending champion, so it's not like he doesn't know how to drive the car. So he definitely could be a possibility. Who do you think's going to be the first out?
Kellett. Kellett's my pick for first out, or Jimmy Johnson.
Same.
They're always close to that spot, not always at that spot. But if I had to pick one person, I would say Kellett.
Okay.
Sorry, Kurt. Sorry about that.
Which is such a shame, because Kellett is just the nicest guy. I mean, as is Jimmy Johnson. Honestly, they're both such nice guys. But yeah, I think Jimmy Johnson, he especially does not do well on the street courses.
No, and he's not run at this course before, correct?
Correct.
Right. So, and again, there's quite a few drivers that have not, at least for IndyCar. I think they have in the feeder series and or I'm trying to think who was I thinking? Herta. Has Herta been there before for IndyCar? I can't remember. Was he
in the feeder series, but not
in the feeder series? Okay. But again, I think it's going to make for a really interesting race, the fact that we have not been there in a couple of years. I think you're going to have some really aggressive, hungry drivers, some new drivers at that track, some that have been there before, but not as IndyCar drivers. And as an example, Jimmy Johnson, I think this is not his strong suit. And if I could pick two, I would say Jimmy Johnson or Kellett. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Kellett.
Well, I would say Jimmy Johnson, so we're covered.
Oh, all right. I could be persuaded to that, but
yeah. I was like, I would agree with that. Yeah. So the activity on track, so starting on Friday, July 15th. So that'll be today when it drops, since it'll drop at midnight. We're recording on Thursday.
Soon to be.
Yep. And so from 2:30 to 3:45 p.m. is the first practice, and I predict a lot of red flags. I think you're right. There's going to be hungry drivers, and there's just so many drivers that have not been on this track in these cars.
I think this race is going to be fantastic because of that. Hungry drivers, new drivers, not there in a few years. Even Pagano. I mean, yes, he has done well in many races. Winner 2019. But it's been some time since he's been there, and I am looking forward to this race. I really wish I was at this race.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both. I love Canada. I just want to.
I wonder I didn't even look what the weather's going to be like. Hopefully good, but that always throws a little
wrench in things.
Yeah, it does.
It does. So I haven't looked either. I think it's supposed to be pretty nice though.
So the only thing I was wondering was it's going to be shown on the practices, practice Friday, and then I know there's more practice and qualifying on Saturday. They're going to be on Peacock, but it said Peacock Premium, and I'm thinking, yes, I have Peacock, but is there a difference between what I have in Premium? I better look that up before I'm trying to watch it.
I think you have to have Premium to access the IndyCar stuff, period.
Okay, so then I already have it. I'm good because
Yeah,
I'm like,
sure.
I'm like, if I go to watch it, and I can't get it on Scramble, I'll be a little ticked. But it said Peacock Premium with limited commercials. I'm like, in my opinion, they have a little too many commercials, if you know what I mean. They do.
So they're promising only 3 minutes or 6 minutes of commercials throughout the entire race.
I'm going to check them on that. I'm going to watch that.
I'm going to clock it. Yeah.
because I feel like their commercials are too long. I don't feel like they were. Peacock. Yeah, I don't feel like they were previously. I feel like they've jacked it up. And they're why are they always at key points? Like, I feel like even when we were at MidOhio watching live, I'm texting a friend who's watching it at home on TV, and I'm like, who was in that accident? Because I didn't have my radio on at the time. And they're like, I don't know, it's a commercial. I'm like, of course it's a commercial.
Of course. And why don't they do this side by side?
Exactly.
I would pay extra money.
Yes, and I think when it's on NBC they do that, and I'm like, I don't know why Peacock doesn't. It's a frustration.
It makes no sense to me. Yeah, no.
Sorry to rant off. No,
you're fine. I'm with you.
All right.
Things I would change if I was in charge. And let me tell you, I have given that feedback to NBC.
So I still work remote part of the time, so some of the times I'm in the field, but some of the times I work from home. I literally put a TV up, a wall-mounted TV in my home office. So for days like this on a Friday, there's practice. I can have that going while I'm working.
It up while you're working.
As long as I don't have a client virtual meeting going on, I got practice on while I'm working, and I'm like, yes. And tomorrow I'm working remote from home, so I'm hoping to see practice on Peacock.
Tomorrow I've got a wedding in the evening, so I'll just shower before practice and then do my makeup and all the stuff that, doesn't require nothing loud like the hair dryer, but do a lot of my getting ready, near the end of practice, so that way I can sit down, watch, enjoy. So yeah, sometimes when I'm at work, it gets a little dicey, because I have to do my job as well. Sometimes I just keep like one earbud, hypothetically, one earbud in my ear, and like just have my phone in my pocket so I can at least hear what's going on.
Yep.
If I can't actually watch. Because we're addicts. We're a little addicted to IndyCar.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, for the Saturday schedule, some of the Pain Tour group we're getting together for dinner, and I'm like, wait, what's the schedule for Saturday? So what am I gonna miss anything from a qualifying standpoint? But it appears not. Practice and qualifying are earlier in the day, so I can watch those as well.
Yep, no, it'll be good. It'll be a good race. I think you're right. I think you're right about the hungry drivers and not having been there. I think that there's going to be a lot of action. This is not going to be a straight up green race. There's going to be a lot of yellows.
And in my opinion, following the outcome of MidOhio, again, I did well on my fantasy picks, so my picks did well. However, and by the way, nice job, VK at MidOhio. He did well. But I really think some of the drivers who could do well at Toronto had some problems at MidOhio. Again, going to make them hungrier, I think, more aggressive, and a few years since they've been there. I cannot wait.
It could go either way. It could work out well for them, or it could work out very poorly for them.
Except for Andretti drivers, they'll be like,
right. They'll be like driving Miss Daisy, just 10-2. Yeah.
I gotta have those channels on the radio or something.
I gotta save those as favorites. Oh yeah, there were some great quotes from MidOhio. Yeah, some good stuff. Good stuff. So, all right, on to the Pelot drama.
Yes. Wow.
Which okay, so the rest of the schedule. All right, yeah, we'll tell you that.
I literally had to look this stuff up on social media because I was busy with work, and our Indy crew group was blowing up about what was happening, and I'm like, wait, what's going on with Pelot? And even to today, I mean, I think we know where he's going, but what's it going to cost,
Well, and I think that's exactly why Chip did what he did. But it was really funny because to me it was like Pelot announced on social media, like, hey, it's like somebody announced, like, hey, me and so broke up. It was amicable. It was a mutual decision. Like, wish him the best in the future. And then, like, Chip Ganassi Racing was like, happy anniversary, babe. Looking forward to many more years together. Like,
I'm telling you what, I was eating it up after I heard about it. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Which way is he going? And I mean, I think it was smart on Chip's side of the house, from a business standpoint.
totally.
But honestly,
I'm sorry. Hang on just one second. Yeah. That's my dog. Duchess, come here. Come here. Come here. Good girl. All right. Sorry.
Hey, Duchess, what's happening?
Right. Somebody's entering the building.
She hears us talking about racing.
She's excited.
She was at MidOhio and she had a great time.
She had a great time.
Yeah, but I mean, I honestly was not sure really what was accurate reporting from social media, because the way that it was presented. And then when Pelot came out with the I
didn't say this.
I didn't say this. I didn't approve that. I was like, oh shit. I love it. I love it.
Here for it. I was just, like, pop me some popcorn. I am here to just watch the drama.
And then Chip Ganassi coming back later in the evening. So that was earlier, like late afternoon. And then Chip coming back at late evening saying, as stated earlier, we've exercised our right to extend the contract. I'm like, oh shit. He's basically saying, McLaren, write me a check.
Yeah, show me the money.
Right. So from that standpoint, I can't blame him. Very smart. Very smart.
He's 100% gonna make decisions that cost him the least amount of money and make him the most amount of money.
What I want to know is, he clearly, some little birdie told him what was about to come down, what was about to be announced, what was about to be, told.
It's real hard to keep secrets at the paddock.
I would like to know how that got to him, and perhaps Pelot, they should have been talking a little clearer. But again, makes for good fun in silly season. Early silly season.
If I were a guessing person on how that got back to Chip,
yes, please tell me.
So, and this is pure speculation. This is pure just me conspiracy theory. But
love it.
The rumor that I had on very good authority was that Dixon was going to be going to McLaren.
Okay.
And so if McLaren was flirting with both of them, I could see Dixon.
Or Emma. Did Emma call it out, or was it Dixon?
I could see Dixon keeping his boss Chip very happy.
Okay. All right. And hey, no shame in that.
No shame in that. Although when they asked about it, he's like, I don't know shit about shit.
See, my money's on Emma. Emma shifted gears in there. She's like, I'm coming in here hot for my honey. Go get him, Emma.
Right. She's like, nope. We've been with CGR. We're staying with CGR. It's very interesting to me. Well, I understand why Pelot might want to leave. Because typically what Ganassi has done is that they set up all their cars based off of their top driver, which has been Scott Dixon for years and years and years. And so, like, Rosenquist didn't race well with them because he doesn't race well on a car that's set up for Scott Dixon.
Right.
And they're all set up for Scott Dixon so that they can give good feedback back to Scott Dixon. Ganassi is very much a, like, team orders, everybody's working together, one of those. And so I can understand where, especially as the returning champion, if you were like, I would rather not do that anymore. And they were like,
because I'm your lead driver. Right.
Yeah. And they were like, well, you have one championship. He has 6. So, like, TFB. I can see where him being like, for personal reasons, I would rather not race here anymore. And
I agree.
And he's a superstar, and it's probably hard to feel like a superstar when you're on Scott Dixon's team.
Yes, and regardless of the age difference, I mean, Dixon, he's amazing. I mean, he still is a strong driver. I'm usually not picking him to win, although that's not a long shot. But he is up there. I mean, he is a strong driver.
And you can never count him out.
No.
He can start in the back of the field and then end up on the podium. You just you just never. I mean,
Right.
Dixon just does Dixon things. About the time that you're ready to count him out, he then comes back and wins 2 races back to back, and you're like, and that's Scott Dixon. All right.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Oh, so but yeah, that drama was wild.
And the last thing I heard on social media was, well, it's unclear which direction he's going. I guess my opinion, again, if it's not finalized, is he's definitely going to McLaren. Which series, I'm not sure, right? I guess that's on the, like, they didn't announce if he's
They
Formula
didn't announce
One,
it from
Formula
the
E, or
IndyCar. Yeah,
IndyCar.
they didn't announce it from the IndyCar account. It was just straight up McLaren. So,
And I think I
which
read somewhere that in his contract, he cannot go to another IndyCar team. Maybe it was IndyCar team. I forget, but
oh, I
I
haven't read
was
that
like,
yet.
I was like, so which is he going to?
So maybe he's gonna go. I mean, because I know Rosenquist, it looked like
Rosenquist.
is going to Formula E.
Okay.
Um,
And what do you think
Rossi's.
what are the thoughts on that? Do you think he feels shafted on that or not? He's glad to go that way.
I don't know if he feels shafted on that. I think that he's probably looking forward to it. I mean, he
Okay.
is European, and so
Yes.
he's probably looking forward to having some races closer to home.
And I also feel like the younger drivers are all about Formula One, or I feel like a Dixon, maybe not, but
Yeah.
the younger generation, I feel like they're not
Well,
opposed
and
to Formula One or Formula E.
no, and honestly, I mean, I don't blame them. I've seen some people post that they don't want IndyCar to become like a feeder series to F1, and I completely agree. I think that we have the superior sport, honestly. I think
I
that
feel that well. I feel that way too, and I also feel like Formula One feeds to us, so I feel like it goes in both directions.
yeah, and so yeah, but it's like I don't want us to be like a farm team for
I don't
Formula
want the
One.
younger generation to be here a year or two and then they are driving to Formula One. That's what I'm afraid of.
Agreed.
And I feel like
And
we have a few in that category right now.
and
Heard of?
I don't want
Yeah.
that to be the case. But at the same time, I can't be mad at him because Formula One, you make so much more money. I mean,
Yes.
how could you say no? It's like Joseph Newgarden when he left Ed Carpenter Racing. There was no bad blood. He absolutely loved Ed Carpenter Racing, but you can't compare Ed Carpenter money to
100,
Penske money, you know?
100%.
And
Yeah. And that
even
hurt because I was a big
oh,
Newey fan back then and I loved him driving for
same.
Carpenter. But I was not disappointed and I'm still a big fan of him with Penske. So, yes, you can't blame him. I understand that.
Yeah, so it's like I get it, and also just the experience, because that's the other thing is at the end of the day, they're all just drivers. Like they want to drive everything they can. That's why in the off season they are driving other shit. Like Rossi does the Baja whatever every
That's why
year, and
Connor Daly is one of my favorites.
oh,
He's not always on the podium, but I will tell you what, he can drive anything. He
anything
he wants to drive anything, and as far as I'm concerned, he's like a fan favorite. Like he is just funny and
personable.
yeah,
He's got a great
yeah.
sense of humor about everything, about himself. He
And
can,
he's been doing this season. I mean, he's been finishing strong. I feel
he
like
has
he's
been.
been in the top 10 quite a few times. I think he's doing well for
I
a
think so
full-time
too,
ride.
and I think that it's this consistency that he's got full season, same team, same car, doesn't have to do the switcheroo ski and racing ovals for this team and racing road courses for this team, and
That's hard. That has to be hard, right? When he had a full ride, I was like, when he was trying to work out the sponsors, I'm like, please,
please,
give him 1 year. And I'm not gonna lie, at the 500, I was rooting for him to win. I wanted to see, the hometown. I wanted him to win so bad. I really did. Because I really think the crowd would have went insane.
oh,
I feel
they
like he
would have
would have been a long
lost it.
shot to win. And Carpenter, that team always does well at that track as far as qualifying, maybe not finishing, but
They always
um
kill in qualifying.
oh my gosh, yeah. So I was hoping for him to win, but
I would, yeah, I always am. I mean
I'm picking VK over him for Toronto, only because I just feel like he's a little stronger on these types of courses.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I think I'm hoping Daly does well, but I think VK is a little stronger, a little more aggressive on these types of courses.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. He's a little bit more comfortable with them.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I
And
think
with
that's a
where he
fair
finished at
statement.
Mid-Ohio, I think he's like a little bit, he did well enough, but maybe a little more hungry to shift it into the next gear.
Yeah, and honestly, we really haven't seen VK have like a huge breakout moment yet this season, and so I feel
And
like it's coming.
honestly, I'm shocked because I thought last season when he broke his collarbone, remember on the
Yeah,
bike ride, he
that's
was doing
right.
so strong. And then obviously after that, he really struggled. Let's just say that. I thought the start of this season, he would have a super strong year. And he hasn't been bad, but not as good as I would have predicted.
Yes, I agree. I definitely would have expected him to have done more by this point in the season.
Yes.
So
I thought
he's
he would have been through the recovery a little more. Um, Ed, Ed Carpenter should not allow his drivers to trail bike or whatever he was doing during
well,
the season.
you
That should be in the contract from now on, and that's coming from a risk control person.
so you know what's funny is that they actually do have a lot of shit in their contracts like that. Like none of them are allowed to ride motorcycles. Like
Well,
or even
after
like dirt bikes. Like
I would assume that's normal, but like the interview that Ed did afterwards was, after his injury, he was just like very cool about it, which that's awesome. As a boss, way to go. What's he gonna do? And I'm sure
right.
he was doing it for workout and exercise and all of that. However, from my standpoint, Ed needs to put that in the contract if it's not there. No,
Yeah,
no
stationary
more of
bikes
that.
only for you, VK. You can't be trusted.
He needs to join. I saw a YouTube or a video clip one time here in PA where Andretti and Connor Daly and Rossi, that circle, the guys that run together, they were up here for a weekend and they were working out, and there was a little clip of them, working out in the gym on the exercise bikes, and I'm like, they need to bring VK along for that weekend so he's not out on the live bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be like trusting me to not hurt myself on a bike. Just not going to happen. Not a good bet. Not a good bet.
uh, yeah, I felt he was on a strong roll, and then that injury happened. I thought he'd come back a little stronger, but he's doing well, just not as well as I thought.
Yeah, he's just not quite living up to his potential right
His
now.
potential, I think, is a lot of potential.
He does. And I mean, he's just such a fun guy. God, I love that kid. I mean, just his excitement level.
Right.
He's like Christmas morning excited 24 hours a day.
So let's talk about what's interesting to me. Come on, at Mid-Ohio, I got a picture with Connor Daly and VK, and the stash on VK. I was like, where did this come from? He's so young, and I'm like, is that a real stash? I was like,
yeah.
oh
Did you
my
buy
gosh.
that?
and I was with Trego at the time. He's like, wait, did he have that stash before? And I'm like, no, he didn't.
It took him the whole season to grow it.
If I see that in Nashville, if I see the stash and his hat, the cowboy hat, or the
Yes.
whatever you call it, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Because
Oh,
he's so young. He's so young, but he had like a full Tom Selleck.
yes.
It was
So
killing me. He's been hanging around Connor Daly too long.
right. Next thing he's gonna have a mullet.
I love it.
Oh no, I love it too. I just that team is so much fun.
Yes.
They just are.
I need a job
yeah.
on that team.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Oh, yeah, that would be your like dream job.
It would be
And
my
then you
dream
could live
job.
here in Speedway.
Yes.
You could have the official paint tour house in Speedway.
I don't know what the housing market's like there, but if it's anything like it is here, now's not the time to buy.
Yeah, that was not the time. It's even worse. Speedway is already usually a little pricier because of the school system, and then you throw this housing market on it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We don't need to get into that for
Team Ed Carpenter, no price is too big. I would be there.
You're like, I'd pay it though.
Honestly,
it's ridiculous, but I'd pay it.
I just don't know if they can afford me.
Tammy, I don't know that anybody can really afford your true worth. Let's be honest. I don't know how much you're making now, but I would say it's probably not enough.
See, you know me. You know me.
I do. I know that you're worth every penny. I know you.
Now you're sweet talking me.
I know. I don't have any favors to ask of you. I'm just building it up.
All right. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Yeah. Just remember this the next time I do need a favor.
Yes, done.
Yeah.
It's done.
But yeah, the Pelot stuff. I think he is going to end up at McLaren. I just think it's going to cost McLaren some money. Not that they don't have it.
Yeah, I think it is, and smart on Ganassi's. Yeah, smart. I think that was the way to go. I'll be curious to see what else is said about it. It's funny that nothing else has been said after that.
Yes.
Well, I've been busy with work. I haven't seen anything anyway. So if anything has been said, I haven't seen it.
There was, let me find this real quick, because I tweeted it. Somebody took a screenshot, which, by the way, if you see something on the internet, this is just a PSA, and it's great. Always take a screenshot before they delete it. You never know. You never know. For instance, this is one of the best comments, and I'm better on Instagram now, but this was like back in the day when I barely used Instagram. I happened to hop on one day when Connor Daly had like a picture of like him in a dirt car, like in a USAC midget. He had a picture of him in an INDYCAR, a picture of him in like an Xfinity car, and a picture of something else. Like it was that year that he drove literally everything under the sun, and he was like, I can drive anything with 4 wheels. And somebody commented, or 2 legs.
3-shot.
And I was like, boom, sent it to Molly. Dude, that comment was gone by the time Molly went to Instagram. Like,
well, you know how many comments I saw about like some of the media sites that posted about Chip Ganassi renewing the contract for Pelot before knowing about McLaren's comment. Like even INDYCAR, there was a lot of people that were posting it, and then you had a lot of comments of, I'm surprised they haven't deleted it yet, or I just reading the commentary was the highlight of my evening that day. I think it was on Wednesday. I was like, yes, this is epic.
It's amazing. So this is one that they tweeted and then deleted it. It was literally only on Twitter for 1 minute. And it was from Chip Ganassi, and it said, there's still time to cast your vote for @Alex Pelot to win the Best Driver Award at the ESPYs. And then the drama went down, and they were like, delete. Like, that's cold-blooded.
See, I'm so slow with social media. I can't keep up with all of it. That I'm like, unless one of the people in our crew brings something to my attention, I'm like, I missed the whole thing.
I know. It was a day that I was busy, and I was like, wait, I got on and saw a bunch of people referencing things, and I'm like, okay, shit, now I have to go and look some stuff up. So,
well, that's what happened with Pelot, because like I was so busy with work that day. I'm like, what is everybody talking about? And then I'm like trying to look it up, and we have to work our real jobs.
Right? Yeah, we have to make money so we can go to all these damn races.
I know. I told my boss.
Gotta afford our habit.
I told the owner at our firm, I'm like, I have a couple of clients that are big IndyCar fans. I'm like, we entertain our clients all the time. We take them golfing. We, take them out to dinner. We do events all the time. We go on trips with them all the time. It's time for IndyCar, baby. So like my trips are going to start to be expensed. He's like, now hold on a minute. I'm like, wait a minute now.
Right. You're like, come on now. Hear me out.
Right. Oh my.
Let's talk about how we can make this a business expense.
You're right. See, it needs to happen.
Yeah. I'm about it. Well, I mean, we could talk about insurance at any race you want to go to.
Hey, as long as I take a client on, we don't even need to talk about insurance. It's a relationship business, and
that's true.
It's a relationship business, and we handle so some of the accounts I handle are pretty large accounts. So a lot of the job is developing personal relationships. Yeah. Anybody can do the business side of it. Mm-hmm. It's what is your personal relationship, so hey, nothing like going to the 500 together. Now maybe I wouldn't have them at the paint tour site because they might get scared.
That might be a little much. Yeah. A little much.
But
at the race, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I would help volunteer my services as a race weekend concierge.
We had at the 500, Dean's wife got us some suite passes on practice day, and I actually had a client call to talk to me about something during the day. He's a big IndyCar fan, and And I took his call, and I'm like, hey, right now I'm listening to practice. I'm sitting in a suite, and I'm like, do you want me to go outside so you can hear it? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, this is the kind of work call I want while I'm at the 500 weekend.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Like, yes, please. I want to hear the cars. That's great.
And he's like a good friend of my boss. So it's like, not only is he a client, but he's good friends with the owner. So it's like, that's a double plus right there.
Yep, that is. That is. I love it. Well, I think that was all the IndyCar drama for this week. I mean, that was more than enough.
Yeah. Now the key is you and I need to circle back around personally after the race to see, based on our predictions and our thoughts about today's recording, what actually happened. I cannot wait. I'm gonna definitely talk to you after the race personally.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna be texting. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, how things go. But yeah, I think the first practice is gonna be a complete shit show. I predict a lot of cars into a lot of tire barriers.
I'm predicting more on the race. Not that
I think the race.
Not that I don't think that a lot will happen in practice and qualifying. I think it will. I agree with you. But I think the race itself, I'm going to private text you what I think for the first situation.
Yeah.
What turn I think the first situation will be, and let's just leave it at that.
I mean, I would always say lap 1, turn 1.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
if we can make it through lap 1, turn 1.
Typically, then that might be my pick. But I'm going to private text you what I didn't give that any thought ahead of time. But I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to private text you what I think. That's my last prediction. I'm going to send it to you separately.
All right, I like it.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tammy. Again, if this is your first time listening, make sure that you subscribe, rate, review, share Fast Cars, Fast Girls with your friends and family. And of course, you can find everything related to Fast Cars, Fast Girls on our website, which is www.fastcarsfastgirls.com. You can link to all of our social media. You can listen to the podcast directly from there, or you can listen anywhere that you like to listen to podcasts. So again, make sure you check us out, fastcarsfastgirls.com. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Let's wave the checkered, and happy race weekend.
Hey, I got black and white on.
I see that. I like it. I got black and white on too, actually. Look at us. Like we planned it. None of you will see this because I don't post the video. But
it's for our viewing pleasure.
It's for our viewing pleasure. You'll have to trust. We're both wearing black and white. We're very festive.
All right. Well, thank you, Abby.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone, and thanks for listening.